As per the results of my Twitter poll, today we are going to be talking about Grumpy vs. Sunshine book recs. This is actually a trope that I really love. I just find it kind of delightful in every way, and I'm really excited that you guys voted for this one because I haven't made a video for this trope ever, and I have some good recs and I'm excited to share them with you. Even if this is like the world's #1 Grumpy Sunshine book, I could not make a video in good conscience on this trope and not mention The Wall of Winnipeg and Me by Mariana Zapata. I just think this is like the perfect embodiment of Grumpy Sunshine. Like, it's just so good. This book follows a girl who works as an assistant to this athlete, and he's obviously like the grumpy one. He's super broody and just kind of closed off, doesn't talk to her a lot, doesn't really communicate with her unless it's for work things. And she's just kind of this like bubbly, fun girl who's like, why am I even here? I don't like how I'm being treated. I feel like this is not the job for me. And she ends up quitting the job. Long story short, something ends up happening that brings them back together. And I don't want to spoil it because it's kind of fun if you just read it and not know. But I absolutely love this book. It's definitely like the slowest of all burns. Like, it's a super long book and it's just extremely slow burn. So you have to really be in for the ride if you want to read this one. But I think that it is so wonderful and I absolutely love the writing. I love the story, and the characters just embody Grumpy Sunshine like no other. Next book on my list is Lyrics of a Small Town by Abby Glines. I feel like not enough people have read this book, and it's one of her newer releases. This book follows a girl who ends up moving into her grandmother's house after her grandmother passes away and leaves a list of things that she would like for her granddaughter to do and kind of loose ends to tie up. She has like such a positive approach to this, even though it's obviously like super sad. She's obviously mourning a loved one. Basically, one of the tasks on the list ends up linking her to this guy in the town, and he's just like your typical broody bad boy. If you haven't read the book, like, you know this man, like you literally would recognize this man. He's just like typical bad boy, amazing. I really loved him, but he obviously has like a super soft side, but super Grumpy Sunshine. I just feel like he is constantly like the negative one and she's the positive one, but it's like okay because together they're just like equal and it's like perfect. So I really love this one, and the second book in this series just came out and I'm about to read it, so I'm excited for that. You should check out the first book if you haven't yet, and then jump on the second one with me. Linemates and Study Dates by Eden Finley, a part of the CU Hockey series. This book was so fun. I've talked about it on my channel before. It's about a hockey player and then a boy who is the son of the hockey coach who is working with the team kind of as like an equipment manager for the semester. The hockey player has just a really negative view on life. Granted, he has been dealt a horrible hand of cards. Like, his life has just been in shambles, and it's really not because of him. There's just been so much chaos happening in his personal life, so he's kind of having this broody negative attitude. Meanwhile, the coach's son is kind of like there to lighten up the mood, and they end up becoming friends. The coach wants him to kind of look after the hockey player because he's just kind of known to be a little bit irrational, a little short-tempered, so he ends up kind of becoming friends with him so that he can keep a close eye on him, but they don't expect to like each other. It's so good. I love this whole series, you guys know, but this one was like one of my favorites, and it's so Grumpy Sunshine. It's so good. Next is Park Avenue Player by Vi Keelan and Penelope Ward. I feel like so many Vi Keelan and Penelope Ward books could be classified as Grumpy Sunshine. They just write a lot of similar characters. This book in particular, though, I picked because I feel like I don't talk about it that much, and it did have a pretty like crazy plot twist, so I feel like you guys will like that. But it follows a girl who ends up applying for this job to be a nanny, and her and the man that she would be working for have like a horrible first interaction, but he ends up giving her the job anyways after she like begs and pleads. And so they kind of have this like enemies to lovers, Grumpy Sunshine vibe, and then like I said, it kind of has like a crazy little twist and turn at the end. So I feel like that's the typical Penelope and Vi combo. Like, it's always like really like good juicy enemies to lovers moment tied together with a plot twist. I, however, have zero complaints. I will read every single book they put out, but if you haven't read this one, I would recommend it. I think it really embodies the trope pretty well. Next is Medicine Man by Saffron Kent. I love Saffron Kent's books. They're always just like so extremely addictive. This one follows a girl who is in a mental hospital and she falls for her psychiatrist. Every time I talk about this book, I'm like, somebody is going to be mad at me. Like, this book, I don't know, something about it feels like extremely wrong, but I cannot help but love this book and love this couple. I'm sorry, I love this couple. This book is so good. I absolutely love it. And it's literally Grumpy Sunshine, like, to the max. She's like the embodiment of sunshine, even though she's going through a tough time and she's in this like mental hospital. I just think that this trope is so them. I feel like this trope is a lot of Saffron's books as well, but I really love this book. If you haven't read it, if you're like, give it a try, have an open mind. I know it sounds a little bit like, what? But read it. Next is Three Little Mistakes by Nikki Sloan. This is actually a part of a series. I think this is the 3rd book. This whole series is super fun, fast-paced, kind of like high smut level books, but I really, really love this book, and the relationship between the two characters is just so sweet. And he's like the bad boy character who was like never gonna settle down, and then like he got his own book, and I was like, okay, like, yeah, he'll never settle down. Right. So I really love this one for that reason. Like, that's kind of like a little side trope that I love. But he's kind of like the boss of this big business that the whole book series is centered around. So he's kind of the more serious, a little grumpy one. And she's kind of like this young, fun girl who doesn't really know what she's getting herself into. But they end up forming a relationship that starts off with just being like hooking up, and they're not really there for anything serious, but obviously feelings develop. But this whole series is so fun. If you're looking for something that's just like lighthearted and a little crazy, look it up. Next book is also part of a series, but totally can be read as a standalone. It's called Lead by Kylie Scott. It's a part of the Stage Dive series. I've talked about this book before. I love this book. The whole series is like a companion novel of members of this one band. And so this book focuses on the lead singer who has like so many issues that his brother is like, we need to assign somebody to you to literally like watch out for you. Kind of like the See You Hockey book. They're like, we literally need somebody to watch over you and like help you with your shit because you actually like can't do things on your own. And so this girl comes in and ends up being his assistant. And it's kind of like enemies to lovers. He initially is just like so fed up with the idea that this girl is gonna have to be with him 24/7, but they end up kind of forming a friendship that transitions, and it's just so good. I love this whole series. It honestly really surprised me, but this book just has to be my favorite. It's so good. The last book I have on my list for Grumpy Sunshine is Real by Katie Evans. This is a book that is so like OG booktube new adult to me. Like when I think of this book and then like Beautiful Disaster and like Easy by Tamara Weber, like those are like the OG new adult books, if you know what I mean. But I do really like it. It's a little cringe. But I really do enjoy it. It's about a fighter, and he's obviously the grumpy one, and he hires a full-time chiropractor to come traveling with him so that he can have somebody throughout all of his fights. And so he has this relationship with the chiropractor who's this main girl character, and he's just so like angry. Like he's a fighter, but he has so much anger inside, and she's just like this sweet character who's like trying to understand him, and it's just such a cute book. I really did like it. It's a whole series, but honestly, you can just read the first one. You don't have to read the whole series. I didn't either. But I really, really like it. So guys, those are all of my Grumpy Sunshine book recs. I hope you found something new to add to your TBR. Of course, if you guys have recommendations for me under this trope, let me know. And also let me know what other tropes you want me to cover on my channel. Also, if you're not already, make sure you're following me on TikTok. I've actually been posting a lot more on there recently. I've been doing like short form book recs, and I've been doing other bookish videos that I'm sure you guys want to watch. So definitely follow me on there, same username. So I'm on TikTok, follow me, we're having fun over there right now. And of course, all my other social medias are linked down below as well. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will talk to you all very, very soon. Bye.